Hello and welcome to another episode of eLearning Designer Weekly. This is episode 2, and in this series, I basically walk you through my week as a freelance e-learning designer. So the idea is that this gives you a better idea of one, what it's like to work in the field of instructional design and e-learning development, but also what it's like to work as a freelancer and grow your business. So last night I finished editing up the first video and then I uploaded it to YouTube. I shared it on LinkedIn and I shared this video as a premiere. So it premieres now in about 20 minutes. So everyone who's here live, we can chat over here on the right. People can ask questions or give feedback in real time. And yeah, it will be kind of a cool event to kick off the series. So I'll probably share it in that form every Monday. So yeah, last night I did spend a few hours editing the video. I learned a good bit about Adobe Premiere Pro and got more comfortable working in the tool. My favorite part of editing was definitely the transitions, where I go from like Monday and then Tuesday and Wednesday, because I added like some upbeat music and then worked on the timing really well, so that right when the drop happens in the song, it like switches to the new day. So I had a lot of fun doing that. It really inspires me to work on some animations in something like Adobe After Effects, where I have this cool upbeat song and I can like time the text and animations to the song. I love videos like that, and I feel like I would have a lot of fun creating videos like that. So that's a goal for down the line. So yeah, in 20 minutes I'm going to hang out with this live audience and see what the reception is like to this series. Hopefully people have some good feedback that I can carry through into this week. And yeah, what I really want to do this week is get that instructional design salary survey published. So once that session is over, I'm going to dive right back into that data, start producing the numbers I need and working on that report. So I will see you later today. Hello again. It is now Monday evening, about 6 o'clock, so I have been busy today. First of all, the premiere went well. People gave some good feedback. The takeaway was that the most interesting parts of this series are, one, my process, but also the tools, the resources, and the events that I share throughout the video. So I'm going to try my best to focus on those key areas for this week. And there also seemed to be a good amount of interest in the GitLab portfolio piece I shared, where I used a lot of these modern tech illustrations. And in the name of sharing tools that I use, I wanted to show off this site here. So I get most of my illustrations from freepik.com. You can type in whatever you want. I don't know, a light bulb. And then you can sort it by vectors, which are mostly illustrations. So you could find some nice modern light bulb illustrations. So if I wanted this one right here, for example, I would download it, and then using Adobe Illustrator, I would pull that light bulb out and then use that in a course. And so that's Freepik, but they added on this new thing called Freepik Illustrations, and this is just awesome. So what I did for the GitLab project, you see over here on the left, you can choose an illustration style, and then they all look cohesive. So that's awesome. So you can find a style that works for your project, and then you can change a color over here to match the brand colors, and it will change the colors of every illustration on the screen. So if you find one you like, you click on it, you can change the background style, you can hide different elements of the illustration, and then you can download it right from here as a PNG. So what I do is I just take it right from here, and then I run it through a program called Compress PNG, just to make the file size smaller so that it's not bloating the Storyline course. And getting an illustration like this into Storyline is a matter of like 40 seconds, if that. So it's an awesome workflow. You can sort it by tags to find things that match your project well. So check this out if you like these nice modern illustration styles. And this is stories.freepik.com. So that's really neat. I also have been working on this, the ID salary survey data as promised. It hasn't been as productive as I would have liked, because at first I was just digging around in Excel, I was filtering things, I was using cells at the bottom to kind of average these columns. But then I smartened up a bit and I downloaded Power BI, and this has been much more efficient, much better, because I can build these visualizations. So as you can see, here's the total compensation by country. And the downside about this data is that the vast majority of the respondents were from the US. So I think for most of these other countries, the data is not representative. So you can see here the total comp in the US is 83K with 360 respondents. But then if you look at Australia, there's only 28 people who responded. And from the UK, 27, Canada, 37. But it's pretty cool because with Power BI, I was able to add this count to the tooltip, so I can just mouse over the bar and see how many people are responding from that country. So it's really cool. You can also look at the freelance earnings. The UK is topping the charts with 117K, but there are only 5 freelancers that are making up that average. Whereas in the US, the average is 104K on the freelance front, but there are 41 freelancers, and 85K in Australia. So this is the kind of stuff I'm going to be drilling into in my report. Just to give you another sneak peek, here is the full-time US breakdown. I thought this page was really interesting. So males and females make almost exactly the same on average. There's about a $400 difference. Males make on average $400 more. 95 males and 212 females responded. So that is that. I mean, yeah, males are making a bit more, but I don't think that's going to be statistically significant. So it is cool that it's very close like that. And then it's about what we would expect. Corporate employees are making more than government more than nonprofit, and then all 3 are making more than higher education employees. And again, exactly what we would think here. As the years of experience increase, the average earnings increase. And it's kind of nice that it worked out almost exactly in a line like that. You can see between 9 and 15 years and 16 and 20, there's not much of a difference. So those increases do kind of fall off a bit as you get up the ladder. So I hope you find that data as interesting as I do, and I'm not sure when I'm going to get the full report published. It is taking a bit of time sifting through this data, and I can imagine it's also going to take a bit of time making sense of it all in a report. And I haven't decided if I'm just going to screenshot these visualizations or if I'm going to build them more visually appealing in something like Adobe Illustrator. So the full report may or may not be released by the time you're watching this, but stay tuned because it will be live soon. I'm going to go for a walk now. I'm going to call it a night here, and I will see you on Tuesday. Hi, it's Tuesday afternoon now. So in about 30 minutes, I have my meeting with Rob Chadwick, where I'm going to learn more about VQL, and I have some questions from the community. People want to know if certain things are possible with Veracity LRS. So I'm just going to ask Rob directly, since he's basically the one who created it. He would know best. So I also had someone gave me some feedback or left a comment about the first episode in this series today. And they said, in the beginning of the video, I mentioned this is going to give you a better idea of what it's like to work as an instructional designer, but then the majority of my tasks are focused on this community outreach and building my brand or awareness. And I think that's fair criticism, because if you're working in a full-time job, you probably don't need to spend so much time building your brand or engaging in the community. And maybe it would benefit you, but you probably don't have time to spend all that time outside of work to focus on social media and creating content. There are some people like Tim Slade, and while they had their full-time job, they were very focused on building and creating content, building their brand. And then it made it really easy for him to make that jump to freelancing after he was already working in the industry for about 10 years. So once people already know who you are, it gives you a bit more leverage to move into freelancing or to land a different full-time job. So it does have benefits, but for me, obviously this community outreach and brand building is a key part of my business because it's how people know who I am to even find me to reach out about opportunities. So I feel like going forward, a lot of my business is going to be focused on this content creation, 50% or more, I would say. And then when people come to me about projects, I do my pricing in a way where I don't need to take on 40 hours a week of client work to pay the bills and add to savings and invest back in the business. Because that's how I view it. I mean, all of this time that I spend working on content, it is like an investment in my business and my brand. So if a client comes to me and the budget doesn't work out, I think, would my time be better spent working on content? Will that result in this $10,000 that the client has? Will this content be worth more than $10,000 to me down the line? And lately I've been answering yes, and I've been trying to keep this momentum with the content going. So sorry, that is a bit of a tangent maybe, but I just wanted to give you an idea of where my thoughts are with this and why I'm not spending 40 hours of my week on this revenue building stuff. And it's fine doing that. I mean, some people have a steady stream of work from word of mouth and referrals, and they're happy working at an hourly rate and just keeping themselves booked, and they're running profitable businesses that way. But for me, I love working on the content so much, and and hearing from people who I'm helping, like that's a lot more motivating and rewarding for me than making one client happy, because my content's on the web and hundreds or thousands of people can get value out of it. So that's where I am with that. And just to let you know why we're not doing a ton of client stuff. So now that I wrapped up that GitLab project, I only have a couple of active clients right now. So I have some proposals out and I'm in some conversations, but I only have 2 active clients. One of them, it's a subcontracting arrangement. So they need me to do pure e-learning development work. And they typically send over their need. I'll give them a fixed price to do it. And once they get confirmation with their client, they'll give me the green light and I'll just bang those projects out fast. So that's an ongoing relationship now. And it works out well for all parties involved. And then my other one is this project in the heavy metals industry. The client said they should have the voiceover ready this week. So hopefully this week or next week, I'll start moving into development and doing some mock-ups of what the UI will look like for that e-learning course. So I think that will be a cool opportunity to see into the process a bit more. So I am sorry, at this time of the year, it's probably not the best for full-time instructional designers, but I'm going to do what I can to, to share the content or share the tools I'm working on, share my process, and just bring you behind the scenes. But if I'm not working on a lot of full-time instructional design projects, there might not be so much about the instructional design process. Hope that makes sense. As far as what I've been up to this morning, I've just been working more on analyzing that ID salary survey data. And again, it's taking me a while. There's a lot to break down because it is a global survey. I've been running into a bit of a challenge with it where maybe I can just show you. So sometimes, let me see a good example. So you see here when we break down the earnings by degree level, people with, 83 people with a bachelor's degree with full-time jobs in the USA, they're making about $75K. With a master's degree, they're making about $78,000, $79K, and that's 203 of the respondents. But with a doctorate degree, the average is only $68K, the lowest of all. And as you can see, there's only 11 people who responded who met these criteria. So it's going to be a bit tricky in the report because, 11 people with a doctorate, that's obviously not representative of every full-time instructional designer in the US who has a doctorate. I'm sure that is not a large enough sample size. So I'll have to just address that in the write-up. This is the data I have. This is how many people met this criteria. But again, this is 11 people we're getting this data from. So again, that is why I wish I had more data, 1,000 or even like 5,000 responses. You could do a really solid write-up, break it down by city, location. I think eLearning Guild has a report from 2018 that has a lot more data and goes into depth like that. But, I'm having fun working on this, and I am really excited to share all of these insights. I've been kind of sharing them in comments on Reddit and on LinkedIn as it's relevant to the discussions, so I can already imagine that the full write-up will be at least interesting for people. So that is that. I hope I didn't bore you talking your ear off for this past 5 minutes or however long it's been, but I will check in later this evening with updates about the conversation with Rob and with any headway I made on that ID salary survey. Hello again. It is Tuesday evening now, so it's almost 6 o'clock. My meeting with Rob Chadwick was great earlier today. He's like genius status software engineer. So basically the coding and technical mentor I've always wished I had. And first of all, he helped me get my duration data visualization all fixed up. So now I can see how long someone has spent on each quiz for my XAPI Challenges app. So before, I thought it was showing me the duration, but it was actually just showing me the count of people that did each quiz. So we figured out what was wrong together, and this data looks a bit better. Before, it was saying what I thought was that, one of the quizzes, people were only spending 32 seconds on it, but it looks like the shortest quiz is about a minute and a half or 100 seconds. So that makes a bit more sense. He's also, he's helping me with things more just related to the XAPI spec, but one of my goals is to do a more secure version of XAPI. So rather than holding the credentials in the browser and just sending them straight to the Learning Record Store, I want to build a server that sits as like a proxy between the user's browser and the Learning Record Store. And on that server is where I would hold the sensitive credentials and information like that. So that is my goal. It does take some back-end programming knowledge, and he's helping me, identify the right things to learn, and then I need to do my part so that when we're on our next meeting, we can talk about a more advanced topic. So who knows how long it will take for me to learn that, but that is something I'm working towards. Also, as promised, I have been working on the ID salary survey, just working on some more screens here and getting all of the information I need. And I've been putting it together into the report. It's kind of like an outline format right now. I'm putting down some important numbers. And notice I have some words like this, like right here, senior instructional designer salary. And I wanted to show you something because, if you are freelancing especially, you need to be found. So LinkedIn is a good way to do that using keywords. But once you start doing content marketing on your own website, you need to make sure that people can find that content. So SEO, search engine optimization, is a really good thing to look into. But let me show you a really simple example of what you can do. So so if you type in just instructional design on Google, it will show you the most popular searches. So first, it's just the term instructional design. That makes sense. Then instructional design jobs. Okay, people wanting to break into the field. And the third one is instructional designer salary. So you can tell this is something that people really want to know when it comes to instructional design. How much money are instructional designers making? And this is part of the reason why I focused on this survey first, because you can see what people want to know. Google tells you what your audience is looking for. So what I do after that is I put it into the Google Keyword Planner. So if you see this here, this is called Keyword Planner. You can just type it in, instructional designer salary, and it shows you about how many monthly searches these terms get. So instructional designer salary is 1K to 10K. That's pretty good for stuff in our field. Instructional design salary is 100 to 1K. And then senior instructional designer salary is 100 to 1K. So on this outline, you can see I'm using those keywords, instructional design salary, in the title, instructional designer salary report 2020. And then I have keywords here because I know I want to include those things in the write-up somehow. Because a big part of the reason that I'm making the content is so that people can find it and get use out of it. So that's just a really quick intro to SEO and keyword research, because you want to make sure you're using the words that your audience is using so that they can find what it is that you're working on. So that's what I've been up to today. I'm slowly making progress on this report. Maybe tomorrow I'll focus on that more. I'm not sure yet if tomorrow I'm going to work on that UI for the client project or if I'll dive back into the report. We'll see how I'm feeling when I wake up and get started, and I'll see you then. Hello, it is Wednesday afternoon now. I don't have any meetings today except for tonight with Kath Ellis, which feels more like a hangout than like a work meeting. So that's cool. I've been taking it somewhat easy today. I've been responding to emails. I shared some stuff on social media and with my mailing list. I'm really looking forward to this storyline workshop tomorrow. So I've just been pushing that. I sent that out to my mailing list. And also, I decided to work on the UI for this client project. And I want to show you the progression for this a little bit. So it always starts off really rough. I'm just like throwing some ideas on the screen of how I want this to look. And then I just I iterate, I keep working on that mock-up until it looks like something I would actually be comfortable putting in front of a client. So, this is just like a wireframe. I just have boxes here. And this is all in Adobe XD. If you're not familiar with this program, it's a really fast and easy way to create mock-ups for e-learning courses and any other kind of web experience. So you see here, I started making it a bit more high fidelity. I used some of the imagery. I just took a screenshot of a Vyond video to have as the background, since this will use Vyond, which is a tool to create animated videos. That is what all these animations will be created in. And then I'm having an illustrator do some custom assets that we're going to include in the videos. But anyway, not to get sidetracked, you see where this is going. I felt like there was just like a lot of text on the screen. These colors were like alternating. This still looked a bit weird to me. So we're getting closer here. I switched it out to use the client brand colors, the exact brand colors other than just like what I guessed. So we're getting closer. I still felt like this was too crowded. So I decided to make it a bit more minimal. I'll get rid of the submit button, and whenever the user hovers over one of these, it will have that effect. And this is how the buttons function on the client's website too, so it will match the brand. So whenever they mouse over it, it will hover, it will be clearly selectable. And I like how this looks a lot better than how this looked over here or how this one looked. So finally, this is the last slide I landed on. I had this back button, but then I realized it would be more realistic to have a replay button. So if they got to this what would you like to do next screen, we're going to add a replay button so they can see the situation again, so they know how to respond to it. And it wouldn't make sense jumping back in this scenario because their choices are going to make this blood lead level rise. So we're only going to give them the try again option when they answer certain questions incorrectly, and we want them to try again. And like I mentioned, I think in the last video, this button right here, Ask Sarah, when they select that, this expert is going to come on screen and give you some extra information that will help you answer the question. So that's in line with action mapping. It's how we're going to present some of the content. I like how the UI came along. I'm sure I can make some slight adjustments to it to improve upon it further. I'll take a look at it tomorrow or later this week and see if anything comes to mind. But I would feel comfortable putting this in front of my client and seeing what they think about it. So that's that. I, of course, need to dive back into that ID salary survey and start making more progress on that report. So I'll probably take a lunch break now. I will work on that report later, and I'll either check in with you before my meeting with Kath or after my meeting with Kath, depending on how much I get done before the meeting. So I'll talk to you later. Hello again. It is now 9:30 p.m. on Wednesday night. I just got off the call with Kath, and we're officially on for in exactly 1 week doing a session called How to Grow Your E-Learning Business. So, and this will be cool because Kath likes to do more advanced topics, not so much for someone just starting their freelance business, but I think that a lot of people who are already freelancing would still have a lot to gain from what Kath has to share. So And it's cool because by the time you're watching this video, if you're watching it right when it releases, you can still attend that session live. It's going to be Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah, I'm excited about that. And I've been busy today before the meeting with Kath. I kind of surprised myself. I just analyzed all of this data. I wrote it all in Google Docs here, and I even got it on the staging version of my website because I need to do some proofreading. I'm going to get some feedback from some people, but I decided to just include the visualizations straight from Power BI because, you know, they have all the information we need. They look clear and fine enough, so no point reinventing the wheel and building them in Illustrator. And yeah, so pretty excited about that. The good news is that it does look like I'll be able to have the report up this week. So by the time you are watching the video, that instructional design salary report will be live. Tomorrow I have that storyline workshop series, and you know, there's been a lot of interest in that. The signups, you know, it's definitely getting a reaction bigger than what I normally post. So I'm really excited for that session. It seems like we'll have a good turnout, and I'm excited to see what people will decide that we build together. So I will see you tomorrow. Hello, it is Thursday afternoon now. I just got done with the Articulate Storyline Live workshop. It was an experience. An adaptive quiz is what won the vote, and I kind of just dove right into Storyline and started trying to build it since we only had 1 hour. And let's just say the end product wasn't a very great adaptive quiz, but I think people got a lot of value out of learning about the process, and I tried to explain exactly what I was doing as I was doing it in Storyline. So going forward for this series, I think I need to have just a selection of like 4 or 5 options that I know are doable within an hour, because the adaptive quiz, and I feel like the same problem would have been with branching scenarios, it just got like too complex as we were trying to build it in Storyline. So if we already had like, you know, how the adaptivity was going to work in a tool like Twine or on some sort of storyboard, then it would have been a lot easier to just make the focus only on the Storyline functionality. So yeah, going forward, I need to either pick a topic about what we're going to cover in the workshop so I can prepare for it better, or I think, yeah, I just need to have 4 manageable options where we can really focus on visual design, storyline features, and then variables and conditions. Maybe even a little bit of JavaScript if we want to go that advanced down the line. But I'm going to do another session like that in 2 weeks, so I have some time to talk to people who are there, get more specific feedback, and really figure it out. But that was by far the most popular session I've ever done on Crowdcast. They even charged me like an overage fee, which I didn't know was a part of my Crowdcast plan, but good to know going forward, I guess. Also, exciting stuff. Here we are on my live website, and this salary report is in a state where I feel comfortable having it online. So I proofread that, I got it up. Still going to ask for some feedback from some people. But yeah, you know, super excited to have that up there, and I'll probably start sharing it next week when you're seeing this video. So that's what I've been up to. I've been so busy every day. I'm probably going to like take a little break now. You know, I didn't take much of a weekend because I was working on that write-up and stuff last weekend. So I'm going to take a break, I think, between now and 6 o'clock, because at 6 I have a meeting with someone named Reese Kerr. He works for this company called Chameleon Creator. I'll show them off a little bit later, like either maybe after my meeting with him, because we're going to talk about some stuff. But they're a tool that's kind of like Articulate Rise, but it looks super modern, super clean. It's really fast, nice animations, and it's mobile responsive, and you can build in it just as quickly as you can with Rise. You just pick what you want and then plug in the text and images. So I'll show that off later today. I think a lot of you will be really pleased with that tool. So I'll see you after that meeting. Hello. It is now Thursday night. I just got off the call with Reese, and it went well. We caught up about what's new with Chameleon Creator, and I just gave him an update about what projects I'm working on, what content I've been working on. So it's always a pleasure chatting with Reese. He's also going to send me over an affiliate link so that whenever I produce content about Chameleon and tell people about the tool, I can include that link in my content. And if anyone ever purchases a Chameleon Creator license with that link, I'll get a percentage of that sale. So that's a cool way for me to slowly replace the income that I earn from my clients with income that I earn from my content. And that's one of my big short to midterm goals. So this could be a cool way to make progress towards that. So I will actually drop that affiliate link in the comments if you do want to check out the tool. But let me show you what Chameleon looks like. So, fully responsive, that's sweet. Here are these, little flip card interactions, and you can see that it's just automatically rearranging as the browser size changes. And you can see these, I don't know how it looks on the video, but these animations are so slick and nice. Simple. So you can see it's really simple, it's really minimal. You can add whatever artwork you want here in the background. This is something that their designers whipped up. Here's a hotspot interaction on an image, just like you see in most authoring tools. So yeah, really cool stuff. I'll show you what it looks like on the back end. You have all these options about what type of content you would like to add. So you can add text, you can add multiple choice questions, those flip cards we've been seeing, click and reveals, a results page, carousels. You can see all of this for yourself. You have a pretty decent amount of options. And with the other ways you can customize, like with the background and the visuals, you can get a really nice custom looking course using this tool. And I think the best part about it is that it looks good on a mobile device, a tablet, or a 27-inch monitor. So I'm looking forward to building something with Chameleon and adding it to my portfolio. I'll actually show you that. There's this brand Beyond Meat that I like. They make these plant-based meat products like sausages and beef patties, ground beef. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to make a Chameleon Creator course for this brand, just to have in my portfolio to show what Chameleon is show what Chameleon Creator is capable of. And then it would also be cool to, put that piece in front of someone at Beyond Meat, just because that's a brand who I think my values align pretty well with them. So it would be cool to work with more clients who who have the same values that I do. It'd be cool to move my business in that direction as well. So that is my plan with Chameleon Creator. I will probably start building that course next week. So in the next video, you'll see me start actually working in Chameleon Creator, and I can show you kind of, just the direction I take with that tool. So we'll be excited to try that out. I'm going to take it easy for the rest of the night, and I will see you tomorrow. Hello, and happy Friday. We are now into Friday afternoon, and I just got off of a call with my friend Elena. She has an instructional design interview this weekend, so I wanted to help her prepare for that. And we also just talked about what's going on in the instructional design world and what I've been up to. Last night and this morning, I also received some good feedback on the instructional designer salary report. So I was able to apply that feedback and then send it out to my mailing list, because I know a lot of people on there were really interested in seeing that data. So I wanted to send it out there first, and then next week I'll share it more widely on LinkedIn and the instructional design subreddit and places like that. I also wanted to discuss this comment. So Chamo left a comment here. They said, would love to see even more details, such as how do you prepare your first meeting with clients? How do you organize your day to dedicate time slots for work, learning, and networking? So the first question, how do I prepare for meetings with clients? Well, I do prep. I make sure I look at the company and where the client is coming from. But sometimes I'll just hop on a discovery call with very little details. And the purpose of that discovery call is to figure out, what the client's looking for and how I can provide some clarity. If I notice any red flags or warning signs that the project very likely isn't going to be a good fit, then I'll probably try to get some more clarity via email before hopping on a discovery call, just to save both of our times. So I hope that helps answer that question. And as far as how I plan my days, I have a notebook right here, and I keep it pretty analog. Like at the top up here, I'll list everything that I need to do during the week. So I'll write like the ID salary survey report, GitLab client work, prepare this script. I'll just write down everything that I need to do at the top, and then I'll break it out into days like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I'll usually do this on Sunday, over the weekend or on the Monday of every week, and then I'll place things from that bank at the top into different days. So I don't really plan out my days usually, like here's what I'm going to do in the morning, here's what I'm going to do in the afternoon. But I do plan it out by day. So then when I wake up, I just look at my, I look at my paper, and then I see, oh, here's what's on my to-do list for today. Let's make sure I bang that out. And sometimes, I switch it up. I don't adhere to that like religiously, but certain weeks when I have a lot of client work and a lot of content and a lot of meetings, I do definitely need to use this to kind of make sure that I'm staying on track each day. And I do the same thing for what I'm sharing on social media. I'll put a list at the top of what I want to share that week, and then I'll have like a column for my mailing list, a column for LinkedIn, and I'll just kind of add things in the days to make sure that I don't miss sharing anything, and that I didn't just create it for nothing for people to possibly stumble across. So that's that. And now, later today, in a few hours, I have a meeting with Mike Hruska, who's now the Chief Revenue Officer at Allen Interactions. We met a while back because he saw I was doing XAPI tutorials, and we just wanted to get to know one another because he was involved in the early days of XAPI and getting funding for the specification. So it was really cool for me to hear about that history from him. Because I'm coming into XAPI so much later once it's already established pretty much or defined. So it was pretty cool hearing about someone who was involved in helping get XAPI off of the ground before it was even called or known as XAPI, before they even knew what it would wind up turning into. So that was how our relationship started. But earlier this week, he reached out about possibly doing XAPI and Articulate Storyline workshops for the Allen Interactions audience. So that sounds like something I would definitely be interested in, as long as I could still produce all of my content for free on the web, and it wouldn't restrict what I'm posting on my own site in any way. So I'm going to talk to him about that in a few hours, and I will check in with you after that meeting to let you know how it goes. Bye-bye. All right, I just got off of the call with Mike, and we basically just caught up for about 45 minutes or so. He talked about some possible opportunities that we might want to partner on, just because they have such a big audience that is interested in this XAPI and storyline stuff. So it sounds like there might be some projects to collaborate on going forward, so we'll be in touch about that. But it is now 5:13 on Friday, 5 o'clock on Friday, best time of the week, time to call it a week. I'm sure I'll be up to something this weekend working on some sort of content, but I've just been so busy with the salary report and all of these meetings and social media stuff that I'm not going to think about what I'm going to do over the weekend. I'm sure I'll be catching you up on it in a day or two when I record again. And I did get some more client work approved today for this agency that I do subcontracting for. So that'll probably just take me a couple of days to bang out, and I'll get started on that next Monday when you're watching this video. So I will see you soon. Hello, it is now Sunday afternoon. I've been out here working on this Chameleon Creator and Beyond Meat project that I was telling you about. So far, I've worked out the target audience and I've created the learning objectives so that I know exactly what I want people to take away from the learning experience. And this is how I start all instructional design projects. I make sure I get the learning objectives down, because then it makes it a lot easier to create the content, create the practice activities, to write the assessment questions, because for good instructional design, you want all of that in perfect alignment to make sure that you're not including anything unnecessary. The only other thing I've worked on so far this weekend is planning. I wrote down new article or tutorial ideas I have. I wrote ideas about where I want to go in the future. So you will see that, some of that in the next video and the videos to come. The last thing I have to do today is just edit all of the clips from this week into one nice big video so that I can upload it to YouTube and it's ready for the premiere tomorrow. Yeah, so if you are enjoying this content and you want to see more like it, then please go ahead and like the video and subscribe. And if you do have any questions about anything you've seen in this video, just leave it in a comment and I'll be sure to respond. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.